We finally got the Holo ear dance. We seen it in the PV, and we finally got the Holo ear dance. Just, it was so freaking cute. But no, episode 5 of Spice and Wolf, what an absolutely fantastic episode. They did such an incredible job with adapting this particular segment because it both kind of hits heavy on Lawrence just stepping up, like calming himself down in the face of like in a very emotional moment, calming himself down, thinking it through, and really pushing, this is what I want to do, and you're going to go along with this. It was a very much so a stand-up moment of saying, hey, Rixton, we're doing this, and if we don't do this, I'm going to testify against you. It's a pretty bold move. Like, in front of somebody of a corporation, it's a really good chance that he can end up missing. And with what they sort of implied of how much this trading company has their hands in a lot of things, this isn't their first rodeo. Now, this is a very special case because, again, they're pretty much framing them as basically holding something that the church would not like. And so they can basically get burned at the stake. But still, it's like it shows how this company that doesn't get messed around a lot, you don't mess with us. Lawrence is basically saying, you're going to listen to me. And if not, I'm going to turn it against you. So a very, very bold move. And yes, this later part really hitting heavy on Holo and Lawrence's relationship, which is super cute. You're really cute. Well, you're a cute boy too. It was really great. Just so many great moments in this episode. Where do I even start? Let's just start off from the beginning of it, opening up with the episode with Lawrence is essentially doing his bartering with Malone and them trying to figure out what's going on. Which is, yes, finally we get a clear idea of what's actually happening here. That these two groups, these two trading companies essentially, the first one was doing it and now Malone's doing it. They were trying to gather up the coins because they're obviously seeing the coins going down, which is, yes, a sign that this kingdom itself is not doing well. The kingdom's currency is not doing well. If they're going through the process of bringing all these coins in, melting them down, and then diluting them, it's a long effort in order to cover the fact that they're having financial problems. And so their whole point here is that they want to gather up enough so they can barter with the kingdom in order to gain rights. And yes, having those rights is a really, really nice thing to have. Yes, mining rights and whatnot. So that's what essentially they're after. They're not after making it, they're going to make a profit out of it, but the profit is through those deals they'll have with the kingdom itself. And it seems like Malone's wanting to sneak in there and get it before them, which that all makes sense why the other company would not want them to do the deal. So it does make sense why they would capture Holo and basically use her as a way of threatening them. We're going to bring this to church and you're going to go down. Every single one of you are going to end up on the stakes. So yeah, it all makes sense now. I'm glad we finally kind of clarified why would they want to buy up all these things. Are they seeing it going back up? All that stuff. And yes, like I said, having Lawrence essentially finally stand up and say, yeah, but the biggest problem here is what are we going to do about Holo? And his end game is that, okay, yeah, you can totally turn me in. Say that, it's them, you can throw me away, you can throw Holo away, but I can be a witness against you. So again, he's threatening in a way that is going to see him having some sort of benefit out of it. Like I said, it's a really, really bold move, like I said, in the face of another company that can make him disappear. I mean, we've seen in this episode how, connected the Malone Company is. Again, they talk about how our buildings have been burned down. Our people get attacked in the streets, which makes sense. In the game of companies and whatnot, any sort of competition, it probably gets pretty brutal and pretty bloody. So yeah, they've faced physical violence and whatnot before. They've faced threats before. This is not their first rodeo, and so having Lawrence basically threaten them that I'm going to turn you in, it's pretty big, bold move. Which again, what Lawrence is threatening them with is the church. And Rickton specifically confessed that, yes, we don't have anybody that we're afraid of anymore. We've dealt with it enough. The only company, the only group that we're afraid of is the church. They're the only one with more connections and more feelers out there that we can't face. So they want to beat that. They need to avoid that, basically. So again, it's sort of Lawrence playing into their only fear. And so it was a really bold move. And again, a move that he literally had no choice to get into because he's backed in the corner and he found that out, which I thought was fantastic. So big W moment for Lawrence. I thought it was an incredible moment. But I like the fact that in the end, again, it's similar to the previous discussions that we've had with the previous episodes with Holo essentially swindling the company by doing the whole Apple thing. Again, it comes down to a merchant, a good merchant, in their mind in a moment like this is going to look to where they can benefit and where they can learn. And so in the end, even though Lawrence is literally threatening Rickton in his face, I'm going to testify against you and have you burned at the stake. Even though he's doing that threat, in the end, what happens? They're comrades. In the end, the deal is we're both going to benefit from this. In the end, if this works out, we're both going to come out on top. So in the end, they're allies. In the end, they're basically co-conspirators. They're co-workers, essentially. They're both going to be partners in this deal. So it's a really cool kind of ending to it, having him, wishing him well, giving him a firm handshake, giving them their password, sending him on his way, wishing him good luck. Because again, if Lawrence can do this and get Holo out of there and keep them away long enough they can do the deal, it's all going to work out. Yeah, even seeing Rickton at the end of that whole conversation, basically standing up and saying, we're the Malone Trade Company. We've dealt with this stuff. And additionally, yes, we're going to get this deal done literally overnight. It's literally like, wait, you could make that deal with the royal family that fast? Yeah, we can get it done. We'll just do an estimate for now, but we'll get it all done. We'll get the Trinity there. As long as it gets there in time, we've done deals like this. Like when there is something to be had, we're going to get it done immediately. So again, it kind of shows the power of Malone. It shows the bravery of Lawrence. It shows his ability to, again, level his mind in the face of something that's emotional. There's one side of it that, yes, it's emotion because he's fearful what's going to happen to Holo. Again, Holo literally risked her life to get him out of there. He wants to repay that debt. And yes, he cares for her at this point. We're establishing, yeah, Lawrence cares for her. But additionally, yes, it's the threat of death. Because again, if the church finds out about this, they're dead. So it's like a culmination of multiple things. It was interesting how they sort of came to a conclusion to, I guess, get media away from turning them into the church. Like, despite the fact that they're going to do this deal, which would allow Medio to essentially go to the church, they're essentially giving them a benefit from it. That's the best way they can avoid Medio turning on them and turning them into the church is just simply, just give them what they want. Essentially what it is. Like, they're threatening them with death, but their mindset with Malone is to, okay, we'll give him at least one thing here. So they're going to come out with something in the end. So it's at least beneficial for them not to turn on them. So it was kind of an interesting addition to the whole bargaining they're doing. But yes, after that, going out, finding Holo, she's super mad. It kind of is heartbreaking. See her coming down there and she's just totally mad at him. And then they finally get alone and she's like, I have a list of all these people that have embarrassed me and I keep their names. And now I have to add another one to the list, and that's you, because I thought you were going to come get me. It's like, I guess it's implying the idea that when whoever actually showed up to tell her where to go, she got excited when they showed up, but it wasn't Lawrence. She was expecting Lawrence to come around the corner, the brave man that's going to save his cute girl from the baddies, but no. It's somebody else, and he's down in some hole. So it's not what it's like this. She had this image of a Prince Charming showing up on a horse, and no, he's down in the sewers. It was a really cute little moment. But it doesn't end there because it immediately shifts into, we've already had her breaking down before in front of Lawrence, and a lot of that had to do with her being alone. And yes, it keeps hitting heavy on the idea that it was all about the fact that she left her homeland, went to this one village, made this promise. Eventually people just forgot about her. And eventually people no longer liked her being this person that kept their harvest going because they felt that she was finicky, because she was trying to maintain the land by not letting it be overabundant too many times to the point where it just dies. So they rejected her and they forgot about her. And she's tired of being forgotten, tired of being left behind. Now we're getting a sense of just her being, people hating her. Because she had this experience, Yare comes down there and literally says, we no longer need you. We're going to turn you in. Then we can finally leave that era behind. We can finally be done with you and your finicky attitude. And it's like even more hurting that the fact that she worked so hard on that land and now this new generation literally not just rejects her, but wants her dead. Just has a spiteful and angry attitude against her, despite the promise that she made and all of these years that she's been trying to keep that village alive. This man literally spat in her face. I made that promise to your ancestors, and I worked hard to keep the land going. And now the youngin's here, spitting right in her face. How utterly, devastating is that? I mean, it's enough to make Holo the Wise Wolf cry. It was a super painful little scene there, and I like Lawrence's response. It's all the better, because now that he's basically pushing you away, You can leave now. You don't have to worry about it anymore. No sorrow. You can leave without worrying about them anymore. They could take care of themselves, apparently. So, and even better yet, let's go ahead and just take their money while we're at it. Let's just basically throw sand in their eyes and take the money. That's what a merchant does. He's essentially taking her experience and what she's sorrowful about with her experience, and he's turning it into, but now we're merchants. And this is what merchants do. This is what we can focus on now. Everything is fine. For a merchant, everything is fine as long as you make money. We don't laugh until the money comes in, and we don't cry until we go bankrupt. And I'm sure we will definitely laugh. I love it. It's like, in the end, we're going to make it through this, and we're going to make the money. And yes, take all of their money while we're at it. Again, throw sand in their eyes. I loved it. It was a great little way to kind of just ease up the tension there. And again, turn it into the fact that they are now merchants. The two of them together. And again, I think it is a part of the idea of Lawrence sort of saying, you're with me now. You're my partner now. It extends from before where it's simply, okay, I'm going to make my money. I'm going to make my shop. Peace out. You'll be fine by your own. To then, at that point, okay, I can wait on the shop. Let me just get you home. To now, we're partners. And I think that's a big deal, again, especially since she feels like her whole village has basically rejected her at this point. Yes, she was already leaving, but it was more kind of just throwing sand in her eyes, or again, spitting in her face, that these people are literally not just rejecting her, but just attacking her. And then, yes, we have our tsundere moment. I love the tsundere moment. She's literally like, I've cried twice in front of you. I feel so bad. I've been weakened by emotion over these hundreds of years that I have not spoken to anybody. I've weakened in emotion, and I've cried twice in front of you. But just so you know, I would have cried if you were here or not. So don't misunderstand. So Holo gets the whole tsundere moment, and then right after that, he just tries to do the tsundere moment right back at her by saying, if you weren't here, I would do the same thing. Don't worry about it. She gives that face. It's like you can't fight Holo. Like, she uses her female privilege to get right back at him. Oh, well, I wouldn't. It's not like I'm doing it for you or anything like that. She's like, really? No, oh, damn it. I've lost. It's such a great little moment. I just love that whole segment. And then, yes, following it up with the guy talking about seeing the two of them makes him want to get back into being a merchant, go out and be a traveler. And he's like, but you'll end up with somebody like her. And she's back there doing the ear thing. It's so cute. I love it. She knows, she just knows that she's so dang cute that you can't fight her, and she literally is going to use that. I love it. I love it to death. But no, he tells about the count. They go down, and then yes, I'm a terrible mess since I've been picked up by you, but I'm cute. Yeah, true. You're cute. I'm glad. You're cute boy yourself. It's a cute little moment. I love it. It's just like, this is the first time it's really establishing the two of them just actually liking each other, and just you see that relationship building up at this point. It's super great. But yeah, fantastic episode 5 of Spice and Wolf. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips, links, links, membership button below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does, and y'all take care.